to the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. The Northwest Race Report is brought to you by O'Hagan's Kart Supply, Lebanon, Oregon. You want to win? O'Hagan's wants to help. And by True Tech Automotive, Hazeldale, Washington. Get your car, truck, or tow rig repaired the right way, the True Tech way. And by Scott Seal Coat and Striping, Federal Way. For over 25 years, whether you're sealing or striping, you can count on Scott. And by Southern Oregon's karting headquarters, Speed City LLC, keeping racers on track with quality support and friendship. You're tuned in to the Northwest Race Report exclusively at terrybridges.com. And now back to your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Oh, what is going on, racers? And welcome to another edition of the Northwest Race Report. I'm your host and your horsepower and performance host, Terry Bridges. And as always, I got the best crew in the business sitting in with me tonight in the studio, Mr. Glenn Lippy Tower. What's going on, Lip?
It's all good in the hood tonight.
And my main man, Mr. Double M, Mike Michelson's with us again, subbing for the knee surgery, Mr. Jeff Eden. What's going on, Double M?
It's a good night. Just glad to be up here with you guys and all the racers out in the racing world.
Yeah, good to have you here. Sweet sweatshirt, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, Team Michaels. That's pretty awesome.
Facebook. It cost me $40.
Whoa. That's up.
Somebody's got some pretty smart marketing going on.
Yes, they do. Because you see those all the time. They got different names and everything. Yep. Well, we got a great show for you tonight. We got Mr. Todd Connell as our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest tonight, and he is the director of the West Coast Late Model Series. So we're going to get a chance to talk to him and find out, just exactly what's going on in that series. It's a good up-and-coming grassroots series, and I'm excited to talk to him tonight and find out what's going on with that. They had good, strong car counts most of the year, and it's just a good, solid series. We got results from Salem. We got results from Monroe. We got some results, believe it or not, from Red Bluff. We got the final season champions from the CKA Awards Banquet. So you get to see hear who all won what there and how the banquet went. Man, just all kinds of good stuff. Double M got a little segment on for you 206 racers, the 16 most common mistakes that are made there. And so, yeah. Guys, we talk about all the time that you never know who's watching or who's paying attention or who's just seeing what's going on. And Lippy found this, and it's from Lori Fuller from Speed City. And we thought it was good enough that we're going to just kind of kick the show off with this just to let you know that people do watch, people do pay attention. And here's what she had to say. It's on Facebook, so you can. Some of you may have already read it, but it says, "I love coming home after the race weekend and realizing I brought some of the track home. This weekend it came home in my eye, my hair, my kids' hair, and under most of our clothes. Dirt is what we do. On a whim, I took some time to make some observations this weekend because I love racing. It's in my kids' blood, and it's seeping into mine as well. I had the opportunity to run at 2 different tracks during 2 different shows this weekend, and this is what I noticed. Speedway races are completely different from cage kart races. Speedway drivers constantly encourage and lift each other up. Before the field enters the track, everyone high-fives or shakes hands or hugs or something. They even go as far as to give knuckles on the backstretch right before the green. She's still working on that one. When somebody breaks down, everyone tries to help. When somebody draws a red flag, everything comes to a halt until it is known that the driver's okay. This completely goes against the things I have seen at cage races. Now, before I fire back, I just hope they know I have their backs. However, the feel at the cage kart race is just different. People scream at each other, fight with each other, cheer when somebody else's kid breaks down or wrecks badly. That is just ridiculous to me. The only thing I can figure is that at a speedway race, drivers are adults about things. Even when they are just kids, and the cage races, we need to act more like adults and let the kids have fun. They are not professionals yet. All I know is that my kids love the sport, and I love watching their faces light up when it's race weekend. It breaks my heart that they have to be around adults that don't always act like it. I will teach my children to treat others on and off the racetrack with respect, to lose graciously, and to win courteously. Dirt is for racing. Asphalt is for getting there.
Powerful.
Wow. Just is she far off? I mean, really, if we're talking about this thing, is she really far off? Now that's we're daggering the cage car guys, which I don't know that's 100% accurate. I don't know that they cheer when people wreck. I would hate to believe that that's the way they are. I mean, it might be a little bit more high strung. Could that be the numbers?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's tough. You don't want to throw cage cart people under the bus, because I was there for, all day Saturday with cage car stuff, and everything seemed fine to me. But I think part of I think she's right from what I've seen. But part of the issue too is I think in the cage carts you have so many kids that the parents are a lot more involved, and I think that's just by sheer numbers maybe where that comes from. But the Speedway weekends when I've been there, man, she's exactly right. Everybody's supportive. I mean, you have your tiffs once in a while, but
right.
For the most part, I think she's pretty spot on, and I don't know why that is, but I don't know. The way I think about it is, even after my race Saturday night, you need to be part of the solution to that. I went over to the guys that I raced with. I didn't know them from Adam. Introduced myself and said, "Hey, man, that was awesome racing with you guys." If they want to be jerks about it for whatever reason, that's on them. That's not on you. You've done your part to make peace with yourself, and I think that's important. You be you, and if somebody else wants to act like a crazo, then let them be.
Right. And and you've seen, I mean, there's a lot of maybe living vicariously through their kids, right? Maybe they wanted to be a racer and weren't. I mean, I've seen, I don't like it, but I mean, I've seen kids get, ripped by their parents. Like, what are you doing? I mean,
it's sad.
But I've seen that everywhere. It's not just the cage cart guys. It's not just the speedway guys. I mean, it happens on the asphalt. It happens. I think it happens everywhere. We just happen to be involved in this.
Sure.
So we see it. Lippy, I mean.
Well, I think we need to also reiterate that this was a year ago that she put this up. She was a little bit more new to the whole racing thing at that time, so that kind of plays into it. And also what we need to remember is this is her takeaway from it. This is what she saw and the way she felt. So regardless of anything, it's what our sports are portraying. So to me, that's what speaks volumes. We need to do things to change that. We need to do things to make it better and more inviting and less like she describes, because that's not something that's going to draw a lot of people in. It's something that needs to be changed. It's something that needs to be dealt with, and it's a mental issue. You've got to change the whole makeup of it, and how you do that, I don't know. I don't have the answer on that one, but
well, I think those are great points. I think really what it should serve as is just a reminder. I mean, we're starting the new season now, and it should be a reminder that, hey, ultimately you're there to have fun. And the kids are there to have fun, and hopefully that's what you're there for. I mean, yeah, you want to win, but to say you're going to win at all costs, really, you're not teaching the right. You're not teaching the right thing. I mean, you teach them to race hard, you give their best, and man, if they're giving their best effort, that's all you can expect. And
yeah.
Sometimes that's a W, and sometimes that's not. So, very interesting.
It was definitely a good article and worth hashing over for sure. It just makes you think, that not only that's a mom's perspective. She's a racer too, but that's a mom's perspective. And, there's a lot of moms out there that don't race and just merely sit on the side. So that's all they ever see. They don't really get to see the knuckle bumps. They don't get to see, the rest of the people having fun. All they get to see is the bad part. So it's unfortunate, but, it needs to be out there.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we got a super good show for you. We're going to get into some results here in just a minute. Actually, we'll do that now, so don't go anywhere.
You check your shop list, you check off things on your racing to-do list, and you constantly check your micron at the racetrack. But what about when that little check engine light comes on in your car, truck, or tow vehicle? Do you check that or just ignore it? Most can't be bothered, but there is nothing worse than breaking down on the way to a big race or vacation getaway. It's time to start treating and checking your car, truck, or tow rig the right way with a visit to True Tech Automotive for a preventative maintenance service before it costs you more than that big race or vacation getaway you're looking forward to. With 10 service bays, NAPA-certified car care technicians, along with award-winning customer service, TrueTech gives you one less thing you have to check.
Get it done right, the first time with the right parts at the right price. And how's this for right? Use the discount code NWRR and receive TrueTech's In the Family Racer discount of 25% off all preventative maintenance and vehicle repairs. Just another way, TrueTech has been helping their customers keep their vehicles in check since 2008. TrueTech Automotive, 6900 Highway 99, Suite A, Vancouver, Washington. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. 360-571-2302.
What's up, race fans? This is the real deal, Chris Gibb, and you're listening to the Northwest Race Report.
It's time for Winner's Circle Wednesday, brought to you by Tees and Tops.
Wow, it was a busy kind of weekend. Salem had their season opener for the cage carts and the dwarfs and the mini stocks, and I was there for the whole weekend. Yeah, it was pretty cool. The turnout wasn't real good. I know Mr. Leach was not extremely pleased with the turnout. Of course, that had something to do with Roseburg. I think they had like 22 or 24 opens, and we had 11. So, a little. I think it was 40 total, which is pretty light for that deal, for that weekend anyway. And he really wasn't super thrilled about it, but of course it is. From what I heard, he was ready to just X-nay it and start doing the motocross. I mean, he was not real thrilled. So, I the truth that I don't know. I guess I'll talk to him this weekend when I see him. But
I think there's a big race coming up in Vegas for the quarter midgets too. So there wasn't a lot of those guys down there to support it either.
Yeah. So. And it used to be huge at remember at Oakwood? I mean, a lot of the quarter midget guys were there because they loved the fact that there were no rules. So, I don't know. It's the close to home thing. I get all that. I mean, but down in our area, down there in Salem, I know there's more than. There's no lights. There was, basically, you know what I'm saying? Over the last couple of weeks, I know there's more there than that are coming in. But anyway, Salem took off. They had their day show, and the day show is the beginner box 125s and quarter midgets and 250s and all that stuff. And then in the evening, they have the micros and the what is the PMSA, the Pacific Mini Sprint Association, I think it is, and the dwarfs and all that good stuff in the night show. So the way the day show went was beginner box. Went to Danner Myers, Connor Foster, and Dylan Wilcox. That was top three. Miles Massey took 125. Cole Borden and Ian Whistler followed him across, second, third. Quarter midgets, Cody Greer and Davis Jacobson. The juniors went to Tyler Pendle The 250s, McLean Bedoin takes the win over Lane Taylor. That doesn't happen very often. Taylor doesn't get beat hardly at all. Alex Reich was third. Beginner box Subi went to James Hamlin, and Bentley Hall was second. Patrick Battaglia was third. The quarter midget Animal went to Cody Greer. The PMSA, the mini sprints, that was Paul Sinjic. Sinjic was your winner. And gosh, no, I got Andrew Merkin second, Doug Pirtle third, George Nickel, and Jim Whistler top 5. Box stock went to Seth Waldall. That was a battle, wasn't it?
That was a good race.
Yeah. Nevaeh Hall second. And Oliver Rowitz was third. Zach Massey fourth. And Ashley Borden fifth. Then it went to the night show. Micro Restricteds went to Morgan McFarland. Doug Pirtle second. Theron Smith third. Mini stocks, Dylan Steffen, Jacob Keller, and Janelle Hot Schlott. Good to see her back. She's a cool chick. Really cool. Dwarfs. Danny Altum was your winner. And here's a name you might recognize. Mike Michelson in the second spot.
Nice.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It was fun. We thrashed,
We
but
did
it was
thrash. We did thrash.
fun. Yeah. Mikey Burnham, the 15, was third. Doug Pirtle and Rebecca Parsons. Round out the top 5 Pro 4s. Toby Ferrando, Papa Tom Ferrando, and Rick Wagner. Open micro, Justin McConville. Have you seen him roll? That kid is super talented. He beats Hunter Stanley, another super talented kid. And third was Lindsey Barney.
Wow.
I mean, Theo McCarty and Doug Pirtle. That's a pretty tough top 5 right there. Open Outlaws. The Duke put it to the Pilgrims. You know why? Hey, Pilgrim. Duke Johnson, your winner. Kyle Cormican, Tyler Thompson, Devin Borden fourth. Eric Schofield rounds out the top 5. Sunday, Danner Myers took the non-Subi Pee-wee. Rayston, Racetin, Rayston Myers. How slick is that?
It's cool.
Kind of cool. Second, Connor Foster third. Micro Restricted, Theron Smith, Morgan McFarland, Doug Pirtle. Let's see here. Lane Taylor wins the 250s. Jordy Massey, Seth Riggs, top 3. Pee Wee Subi, Patrick Battaglia, Kellen Hurst, and Jake Waldall, third. Oh, Jake did pretty good. Alexandria Stutz took the 5-horse open. Junior sprints went to Carlin Kotcher. 125 Cage went to Cole Borden. Miles Massey and Braden Brookshire round out the top 3. Hunter Stanley took the open micros. Paul Sinjic and Doug Pirtle, top 3. Seth Waldall, again, box stock. Nevaeh Hall and Ashley Borden, top 3. Duke Johnson took the open cage. Kyle Cormican, Eric Schofield, Devin Borden, and Bradley Lynn, your top 5. That was a pretty good weekend, actually, down there at Salem. Oh, let's see here. And Lippy, I've got some, well, I guess we could do that. I guess up at Monroe, when Lippy will have those results coming up, the Strebe Speedway final points. It came down to the last main events at the last race. 9 points separated the champions in both as drivers and owner points. Michael Strebe comes out P1. Clint Mines was P2. Riley Hood, 3. Matt Strebe, I can't say that. Matt Strebe, 4th. Jim Strebe, 5th. Chuck Knudsen, 6th. Tyler Hood, 7th. Kinsey Thomas, 8th. Nick Hall, 9th. And Anna Gallagher, 10th. And then the owner points, it was Strebfest Motorsports, Jet Motorsports, and then there's a joint Jet Strebfest Motorsports. I don't know how the owner points go, so I'll have to. What he needs to do is put some rules up and see how they do this whole point thing. But that's kind of the 6 different winners in 9 races, 32 drivers collected points. That's not a bad little series.
Yeah, Chuck Knudsen, nice job by him.
Absolutely. So what went on at Monroe? I know big shout-out to Joe Constance, who crashed pretty good, flipped pretty good down there, and he was in the hospital. They had to go in and do some surgery on his, I don't know, one of the bones or something was up against one of his, it was his collarbone or something, and it was on one of the arteries or something.
Yeah, he dislocated his collarbone, so he pulled it off of his spinal cord in that area, and then when it did, it went over the top of his shoulder joint and up into his neck. And that's where it got a major artery and his nerves. So he flipped it over, cartwheeled it, and then popped right up onto his feet and started to head towards, off the track. But he only made it like 5 or 6 feet, and the pain kicked in, and the adrenaline went down, and boom, he just hit the ground. And so they scooped him up and brought him into his trailer and put him in there, and the EMTs caught up with him there and took one look at him and said, you need to go to the hospital, which, at Monroe is just right across the freeway or right across the road from where the fairgrounds are. So they took him over to there and looked him over again there by the doctors and said, yeah, you need to go. So they piled him in an ambulance and hauled him to Harborview. And it was literally pushing. It was nerfing off the vein that feeds the brain with blood, basically. So they rushed him. They did an MRI on him and rushed him right into surgery that night. Within hours, and we're putting the shoulder bone and everything back into its socket where it's supposed to go and relieving the pressure. But yeah, he's definitely
lucky.
Took a good hit, and luckily he was close to the hospital and everything. And his daughter, a year ago, she broke her arm up there. And when they went and took her in and got it set and everything, the growth plate didn't grow back right. It grew back wrong. So she actually went in yesterday or this morning and had a re-break and re-putting her back together. So
wow.
Mama is really working overtime right now in that household because he's laid up, she's laid up. So
yeah, well, if anybody can handle that, it's Tiffany Constance, man. Let me tell you,
it's enough to overwhelm anybody for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's crazy.
So that's Joe Constance, and if you don't know who Joe Constance is, it's Joe's Racing Products. That is Joe of Joe's Racing Products that took that spill and got pretty messed up over it. Everybody thought it was fine. It was a cartwheel, like I said, he rolled up onto his feet and started the maneuver, but he didn't make it very far before the pain kicked in.
Yeah, that's wow. Big. So that's friggin' awesome. And go ahead, because we got Monroe results to get through, so go ahead.
We do, and there's a lot of it, so I'm just going to give you just the top 2 maybe in each one of the heats, and we'll work our way down from there. Yamaha Light, there was 19 entries in that. So in Heat 1, Jamie Burns and Chris Foster brought home that one. Let's see here. Joe Constance comes in first in Heat 2 with Daniel Hope behind him. Heat 3 was Reese Wickard and Maurice Showers. And let's see. Heat 4 was Andrea Smith and Bobby Frankhauser. So the last chance qualifier on that was Carlos Sunholm and Tyler McLeod. Let's see here. And the last chance qualifier for the number 2 was Keegan Holgberg and Kyle Norwood. So the main, bringing home the main on that one is Jamie Burns and Andrea Smith. Nice job there. Let's see here. Heavy, there was 21 entries in that one. The first one was TJ Morristeig, Derek Emerson, and then 2 was Nob Fawn, sorry, and Michael Millard.
Oh, Nate Vaughn. That's who it is.
Nate, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Good light now. James Duvall, and then Nick Toller in the number 2 or 3 heat. 4 heat was Brent Anderson and Nick. What is that one?
I have no idea. I just wrote the main, so that's all. I didn't.
Weisar?
Weisar? Okay. See, that was Heat 4. Or excuse me, yeah, it was Heat 4, number 2. So the last chance qualifier was Spencer Constance and Matt Powers. Both made it in on that one. Last chance qualifier number 2 was Cassidy Sunholm and Bradley Shaw, making it in on that one. So the main for heavy was James Duvall and Spencer Constance, making it in on that one. Let's see here. We got pro. They had 18 entries in pro. Alex Henstel comes in number 1 on Heat 1, and Bob Frankhauser, on that one. Spencer Constance on number 2, our own Ronnie Cox in the number 2 spot in that one. Heat number 3 is Levi Harless,
yeah,
and James Duvall on the number 3 heat. And the last chance qualifier was Bradley Shaw and Derek Moss. Tyler Weber coming in third on that one, and Mickey Thompson making an appearance. So the A, our own Ronnie Cox, brings it home in that one. I heard he ran really strong in that. Came from the back or the middle of the pack, and really did a good job in the A main there. And Levi Harless comes in number 2, and Spencer Constance number 3 in the opens. So
that was the pro open, and then they had the regular open.
Does it say pro on that one?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it does say pro on that one. So this is the regular open, and that is Alex Hantel, and Reese Wickard, number 1 heat. That's 1 and 2. Number 2 heat is Levi Harless and Nate Vaughn in number 2 spot. And the main was Keegan Hogberg and Nate Vaughn. And Jesse Clark, nice job. It's another one that runs with us out there. Let's see, the over 40. We had Ronnie Cox bringing home the first spot in that. Mike Marshall coming in second in the first heat. And the second heat was Mickey Thompson and Jim Heller. Ronnie Cox won that one, and Mickey Thompson coming in 2 on the over 40 class. So, and then we got the Strebe. They ran their last race up there. First heat was Clint Meems and Luke Warmwater. Number 2 heat was Michael Strebe, and the number 2 in that one was Riley Hood. Good to see him up there. And Clint Meems brings it home, and Michael Strebe comes in second in the mains. Then looks like we had some quarter midget stuff going on up there, which was Samantha
Schwartz. Was it Schwartz?
Yes,
yeah.
It was Schwartz, and Riley Ruddle. And the number 2 was Braden Wager, and I can't come up with that next one.
That kid's a shoe too, Braden. He can wheel it.
Oh, Braden Weger?
Yeah, Wager. Yeah, he's quite good.
Very good. Let's see who brings it home in that one. Samantha brings it home in that one. And then Braden brings it home, number 2 in that one.
Nice.
So, yeah, they had a full house up there for sure.
Yes, they did. It sounds like it. Big time. Let's see. We're going to float really quickly here, and we are going to get to Red Bluff, because that was the Outlaws there. Race number 5 for them down there. And beginner box went to Carson Stevens, Aiden Larimer, Dana Wilkerson. Box stock went to Connor Grasky, Tyler Fox, and Rylan Renaud. Intermediate went to Dan Whitley, Carson Souza, and Blake Carrick. The Open C main, Brian Hubert. The Open B main, Tyler Seavey. And the Open A's went to Jesse Caldwell. Casey McLean. So that was pretty awesome, top 3. And Logan Seavey makes his way all the way from the B main to 4th. So that's not too bad. Sportsman C went to Zach Cavert. Travis Henry took the Sportsman B, and the Sportsman A went to Chris Renaud, Justin Reynolds, and Sean Fogarty. And that's what happened down at Red Bluff.
Nice.
Pretty good stuff. Oh, yeah, the Open A dash went to Caldwell, Logan Seavey, Casey McLean, Tyler Seavey, Tyler Seavey was second. Logan Seavey was fourth. And Tanner Holmes fifth. So they run like 4 or 5 guys in the dash. A little bit different from what I'm used to, right?
Yeah.
So what did they normally run for you, right? 4?
4.
Yeah. So I guess that's how they do it in the open wheel stuff. But hey, and by the way, Northwest Gold Cup had their banquet. We gave you the champions last week, but I wanted to say big shout out to Evan C. Did you see the video from the fall brawl? Pfft, good night. Good night is all I can say. And Big Dustin back there. Did you see the he set a track record. Man, I wrote it down too. I got it right here. He rolled it. I mean, Run What You Brung. They had a big show there, and he set a brand new track record. And I gotta get my
Dustin who?
I'm trying to think. I had his last name here. Let me look it up here. But he rolled it. I mean, big time. Well, I'll find it. Dustin, great job. Super great job. And Evan C. Tom Spaniel was fast time there, 12.45. That was at Patriot, so you know they were hauling.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's all good in the hood. What do you think? Are we going to get to Mike Michelson? Has some good stuff coming up on the 206 stuff.
All right. So we're going to go through some stuff for you 206 guys. And this is by David Klaus. He's the director for Briggs Racing. So this is coming straight out of the horse's mouth. It's the 16 common mistakes, and it's a preventative guide. So we're going to roll through this stuff. And, again, probably going to be a reminder for some people, but hopefully you guys can pick something up. We got some pages stuff here, so I'm going to go through it, and hopefully it'll spark a little bit of interest.
Oh, by the way, his last name was Stagen. Dustin Stagen.
It says Smith on here.
Yeah, Ronnie Cox said Dustin Smith.
No, it's Stagen. He rolled it.
Nice.
Killer.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So here we go. The 206 crate engine is built from a dedicated platform engineered and designed for racing. Even engineered for a brutal environment and built by hand to assure the highest level of craftsmanship, the experience you have still comes down to making the right choices. This simple guide is intended to help you navigate through the most common mistakes so that you can enjoy what racing is all about. So number 1, not setting the float level upon first installing your engine, resulting in poor engine performance. After our labor of love leaves your local partial carrier, we'll push, shove, and possibly even drop your engine, changing the factory float setting in your carburetor. Float height is critical to engine performance as it controls the amount of fuel in your carburetor bowl by controlling the opening and closing of the inlet needle, which is where the fuel comes from your fuel pump. Too much fuel can cause bogging or a sluggish throttle response, whereas not enough fuel will elevate your engine operating temperatures, and top-end performance will suffer as the engine starves for fuel. And I know that is very important from, racing the 206 for a year myself. That float level is very critical, so make sure you guys are paying attention to that. So on their website, www.briggsracing.com, they have a video tutorial on how to set your float height. Also under the Documents tab of our 206 section is a carburetor tuning guide. Print this out and keep it in your toolbox. The PZ carburetor is very easy to tune, but knowledge is power, so please take the time to read and understand.
Good info there, folks.
Yep. And then the next thing we come to is what oil you use. It says using the wrong choice of oil, which can lead to premature wear, internal rust, and even failure. The choice of oil you use will play one of the largest roles in performance and longevity of your engine. They recommend using only Briggs & Stratton 4T synthetic racing oil, as it was specifically engineered for your race engine, and that's available through most AMSOIL or Briggs Racing dealers. Do not use karting oils, as many are simply compressor lubricant and food coloring. They offer very limited protection and are prone to water contamination and have a TBN of 0. Does anybody know what that means?
TBN? No, I don't.
It's probably bad.
I don't know what TBN is. Viscosity, or has something to do with that. I don't know.
This base oil is not used in any other form of racing and or combustion engine because of these severe limitations. Use car or race oils designed for automotive use. This category of oil is engineered for pressure lube systems. When used in a splash lube system, they tend to foam, froth, and greatly reduce the ability to protect. In addition, automotive oils are engineered for the lower operating temperatures of a liquid-cooled versus air-cooled environment. So don't cheap out, basically, is what the moral of that story is.
Amen.
The next thing, allowing your clutch to float will lead to crankshaft damage. Clutch manufacturers offer generic recommendations, not necessarily knowing what engine or application their clutches will be used on. Allowing the clutch to float on your 206 engine will overload the keyway, too much torque spread over too small of a surface area, and can result in keyway damage. Our crankshaft is carbon steel, and even so, the design of most clutches offer an insufficient surface area to transfer load. In order to prevent keyway damage, the clutch hub has to be locked against the shoulder of the crankshaft.
That's interesting, because that's counter to what most of us try and do.
Right.
So that's good info right there.
And they do have a video on that same website on how to properly install your clutch. So, that is kind of contradictory to what I thought too. So that might be worth checking out that video and seeing what they say.
For sure.
Number 4, installing your exhaust system in a bind will cause bracket or exhaust pipe failure. When installing your exhaust, always start with the cylinder head fasteners first. If the brace does not fit flat against the cylinder head mounting boss, use the washers provided to take up the space and or bend the brace carefully to fit flush. If any excess force is used installing the brace and or exhaust fasteners, this will overstress the exhaust system, leading to breakage and or exhaust fasteners at the head to strip out. Bringing each fastener to final torque will naturally create a bind. Take your time and do not use force of an impact to make the exhaust fit. Slowly work to final torque by alternating fastener torque in steps, increasing torque in stages, which, that's what we should be doing on all our stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's a reminder. The next thing you talk about is over-wrapping your exhaust system. Sanctioning bodies mandate that your header system be wrapped with an approved exhaust material. When installing wrap, it is important to make sure that you do not double wrap or excessively overlap of this material. This will insulate the exhaust, trapping in excessive heat, which can impact the strength and life of your exhaust. Do not start your header wrap until 3 inches above where the flange meets the cylinder head. Wrapping closer to the flange will trap heat, elevating cylinder head temperatures that could lead to exhaust valve seat warping and or head gasket failure, which is bad.
Yeah, it also, wrapping it closer to that, it makes the bolts that hold it down get a lot hotter too, which fatigues the material and either breaks the header or pulls the threads out. So a lot of people don't realize that it needs to be 3 inches away. It's a common mistake I see a lot.
For sure. The next thing, not checking valve lash after the initial break-in period. After your engine goes through several heat cycles, valve lash has a tendency to grow as component stresses from manufacturing are relieved. We recommend that lash is checked during the first 30 to 60 minutes of initial runtime. And they also have a video on how to set your valve lash. So some good info on their website.
Definitely.
Here's something I'm guilty of. Running at the rev limiter in slide restricted classes. When air is restricted, an engine's peak torque and horsepower occur earlier in the power band. The greater the restriction, the lower in the RPM range peak horsepower and torque will occur. Peak horsepower for the unrestricted 206 is around 5,600, whereas the green slide restrictor peak horsepower is at 4,800 RPMs. Gearing past 5,300, given that the peak is 4,800 with the green slide, will result in slower lap times. Gear for power band, not the rev limiter. Very true. How are we doing on time, boss?
Oh, yeah, we're good.
All right.
You're good.
Cut me off at any time.
Nope.
Number 8, using a 1/4-inch aluminum offset motor mount plate and offsetting the motor too far. Excessively offsetting an engine offers very little engine stability and amplifies vibration by acting as a springboard. Engine stresses compound as the natural engine motion, which they have engineered for, falls on one plane. The flexing of the chassis on multiple planes and your engine's crankshaft load changes as chain tension varies as your chassis flexes. Install the engine on no more than a 3/4 inch offset. When a typical 1/2 inch plate is used, an offset beyond 3/4 of an inch, strain gauge tests show up to 20% increase in vibration measured at the valve cover. This is a tremendous amount of additional vibration, taking into account any common additional sources of vibration, track surface, tire balance, bent axles, etc.
Yeah, I wonder how many guys go,
It's fine.
yeah.
Vibration accelerates fatigue, causing component failure and fastener torque loss. Just because an engine mount allows for greater offset doesn't mean you should do it. The greater the offset, the more harmonics and stress on your engine block and side cover. Most 1/2 inch aluminum engine mounting plates are also machined for weight reduction, allow even greater flex as the very rigidity needed stripped away to save an ounce. Use a quality mount. The best on the market is the Odenthal mount. It allows for greater offset without sacrificing rigidity. Another system would be the PMI engine mount with a 3/4 inch engine plate versus the standard 1/2 inch plate. Typically, we would not offer brand recommendations, but the foundation that your engine sits on is very critical to your success. The next one, not oiling your green air filter before using. Your green air filter is a premium filter that uses oil to effectively trap and prevent debris from entering your engine. It must be oiled before initial use because it's shipped dry. And we recommend using Green Air Filter's oil recharging system. For instructions on how to clean and oil your air filter, please check out www.greenfilterusa.com. Your oil filter is the only barrier preventing debris from entering your engine. This is the best filters available, but it needs to be properly oiled in order to offer you the best protection possible.
Yeah, and they're probably going to say, but some of the stuff, like he said, it might be redundant, but stuff to check out. I mean, you guys didn't know about the clutch thing, right? I wonder how many other guys don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, for sure. The next one's not installing a fuel filter. Your fuel source has dirt in it. Your tank has dirt in it, and installing a fuel filter will prevent debris from entering your carburetor where it can clog a jet or prevent proper fuel delivery, all of which usually happens during a race as you agitate your fuel. And then they talk about not properly storing your engine. Today's fuel has ethanol in it. Ethanol is corrosive and attracts water. Left in your carburetor over a period of time, it will form zinc and aluminum oxide as it reacts with the materials around it. Aged fuel also varnish on carburetor parts over time. With some simple steps, this mess can be prevented. So I don't know how many guys are running on ethanol. I know most of the guys in the 206 class say that the lower the octane, the more power it makes. So I know you can find ethanol-free regular. It's not superly readily available, but it is out there. So that might be something to think about.
Well, what about the red stuff that you can
Stable?
No, not stable, but the other stuff. It's like they use it as top-end lube.
Oh,
Marvel Mystery. I wonder if a guy put a little bit of that in there, if that wouldn't help combat some of that corrosion, whatever.
That was always a staple in my race car. I always put a little bit of that in there. So they talk about fuel stabilizer. Check to make sure the addition of stabilizer specific to ethanol fuel does not impact the approach that your track or series uses to detect fuel. After an event, remove the fuel line feed at the pump, open up your bottom bowl drain, and let gravity remove all the fuel into an approved fuel container. Retighten your drain screw and take some WD-40 and spray it into the fuel line. Use enough so that it drains into your carburetor and coats internal parts for protection. Reinstall and secure your fuel line to the pump. If you are done for the season, I would allow the same process and leave Briggs 4T oil in your crankcase. Most karting oils attract water. Leaving them in your engine over winter will cause rust and acid etching. Acid formation is a byproduct of combustion that gets past the rings, combining with water attracted by PAG-based karting oils. Briggs 4T has a high TBN, here it is, the ability to neutralize engine combustion byproducts, along with a premium rust inhibitor. As we are talking about fuel, please use all the safety precautions and pickling your engine, blah, blah, blah. So Don't be a knucklehead.
Nice. Good bits of info there.
We doing good? We got
Yeah.
we got a
How many you
couple
got?
more.
How many we got more? 6 more? 3 more?
Yeah, I'm on 12.
Yeah.
Not focusing on your chassis setup first. There's a natural assumption we are racers have that lap times are solely connected with the performance of the engine. If something changes or we aren't up to speed, it has to be the engine. While engine issues happen, it is important to learn how to diagnose and isolate all variables that could lead to performance change. Most of the time, it will not be engine related. Learning the dynamics of chassis setup, the impact of changing track surface, kart conditions, bearings, axles, alignments, toe, things like that, and the feel of what the kart is doing from your ears to your butt in the seat will allow you to piece together from the symptoms that to figure out what the cause is, which makes a lot of sense too. Yeah. The number one issue new racers make is misunderstanding cause and effect.
Hey, will you repeat that?
The number one issue new racers make is misunderstanding cause and effect. That is perfectly natural, and we all go through this learning curve. A simple example, I can't get my engine to run over 5,800 RPMs. And their answers is, was it earlier in the day? Is it only in one certain corner or on parts of the track? What changed? Did you hit a curb, which changed the toe of your kart? Has your engine mount shifted, causing misalignment and chain tension? Is your frame cracked or bent? Is your axle bent, or is something else loosened up on your kart? Is there more rubber down on the track as conditions have changed? This could be causing your chassis to bind. A bind can also cause too much chassis or engine mount flexing, making your chain or clutch alignment to change. Attention to the changing variables is one of the keys to identifying and efficiently resolving problems. While the engine could be the fact, work through a systematic process to isolate your root cause. Assumption, as they say. So they're pretty much saying don't assume anything. Really find out what the problem is. And I think that's important, and we all talk about that. You gotta have that feel, right? You gotta know, you gotta be able to feel what's going on with your ride. And it doesn't matter if that's a go-kart, a midget, a big car. You know, that's part of your success in being a racer is being able to really understand what your race car is doing.
Well, you know, and it's like cause and effect. So before it was turning over 58, right? And then after the second heat race, after you bump the wall and the other guy maybe cage you in the back, all of a sudden now it doesn't run over 58, and you want to say it's the motor. Well,
yep,
bent axle or something bent or
broke.
something broke. I mean, that's where you've got to be smart.
Exactly. Then they talk about routing your catch can for your breather, you know, out of your engine to make sure that it's not clogged up and that's all working right. Oil pump routing and installation. Pulsing from the crankcase requires some finesse, but done properly will be problem-free. Some of the key points. The pulse line from the engine needs to be short and direct, allowing any oil mist that mitigates toward the pump to harmlessly and naturally drain back into your crankcase. Do not have low spots where oil can pool in your line and prevent the pump from functioning properly. The most common issue with pulsing from the crankcase is excessive oil exiting the pump vent, which is a small circular brass piece. So you don't want that clogging up with oil, or it's gonna give you problems.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some causes. Too much oil in the engine. They recommend 13 ounces. Too much crankcase back pressure. If your valve cover breather is restricted, the pressure has to go somewhere. The pressure commonly forcing oil through the pump and out of the brass vent on your fuel pump.
So breathers are huge.
Yep. Review your catch can system for restrictions. Drill another hole or two in the top of your catch can. Check for a pinch line anywhere from the cover to the catch can. Even use a zip tie to hold the line in place so it can't pinch. Strong suggestion to help reduce any mist from exiting your fuel pump vent. If you find yourself with an issue, clean the oil from your pump vent using either nail polish or silicone and put a dab on the screen itself. This dab can completely cover the brass vent screen without negatively impacting the function of the pump. This will naturally act as a restriction to the amount of air allowed to pass through. That will lower the velocity of air passing through it and its ability to oil mist with it, which that makes sense too. Some recommended checks. Exhaust system. Every time you come off the track, Check your exhaust fasteners and safety wire. Left unchecked, a loose fastener will destroy a thread, and it will loosen the silencer and will increase vibration and fatigue. Also check for any gasket leaks at the same time. A gasket leak can elevate cylinder head temperatures, causing head gasket failure or head warping if not caught in time. Head bolts, oil drain plugs, and engine mounts. Check all that stuff regularly. Drain fill plugs. If not torqued properly, we know what happens there. And then finally, the last thing they say is not tapping into the awesome community of 206 racers to gain knowledge and ask questions. Remember, racing has a learning curve. We all start with zero knowledge, and through reading, asking questions, and meeting with friends at the track, we reach and learn. Don't get discouraged. This is a family, and we share a common passion. While I might or might not end a weekend on the podium, it's the camaraderie, friendships, and fun and adrenaline that you can't find anywhere else.
Hallelujah. I mean, I agree with that last statement there. I mean, when you think you know it all, you're pretty much done. And I noticed right out of the gate, I noticed it this weekend because we were down there with your car and struggling a little bit. But boy, not that it's a bad thing, but everybody's all of a sudden, they know what's wrong.
Yep.
And they got it for you, right? Oh, you need to do this, or oh, you need to get that off, or you need to get this off, or I think one guy on there said J-bar. What's a J-bar?
Yeah.
And then he turns around and says, "Get that right front brake off."
I know there's
right. You don't know what a J-bar is, but you're telling me to take the right front brake off. I mean,
there's 10 surgeons always in the operating room.
So that's where we preach to you guys that you have to have your own belief system on the way you think things operate. It doesn't have to be the same as everybody else's, but it needs to be your own. That way you only can say, I appreciate it, but yeah, I don't believe in taking that brake off or whatever the case is. But yeah. So we got a few minutes before our Blue Line Graphics in the seat guest, Mr. Todd Connell, going to be with us. I want to give a big shout out. You just watched the tape, right? Becca Clark, broken wrist, done for the year, it looks like. Not good. She said, well, I'm going to race the BK. Mom says, no, you're not. And she said, well, what do you mean? I run 15 laps with a broken wrist. That doesn't matter. You're still not doing it. So she'll be at the track messing around, learning. And there's still time, right? If you get hurt and that's is it the end of the season? Or can you be working on Queen Bee stuff? Can you be working on marketing partner proposals? Can you be doing all kinds of little things for the race team?
Absolutely. And this is if I can throw my 2 cents in there, this is one thing especially kids don't understand is if you have a break like that, and a lot of this comes from coaching and stuff too, but if you have a break like that and you don't let it heal properly and you re-injure it while it's growing back, it can cause permanent damage.
Yeah.
And things cannot heal right. You gotta get healed up. As hard as that is sometimes, you gotta do it, especially when you're young and things are still growing. If I broke my arm, I'd be like, yeah, we'll tape it up and we'll go. But with the kiddos, it's a little different.
It is. And you gotta remember, kiddos, you're gonna be old one day.
Yes, you are.
And those things do show back up, right? I can tell the weather changes because my hand just aches like crazy. I mean,
it's my knee, actually. But
yeah.
I liked her answer to that, though. She said that she was going to be there next weekend just to watch and learn the lines of the track for when she does get better. So she gets it. She knows that it's not just going to be I'm out, so it's a party. She's in it for the long haul. She wants to go down and watch and see where everybody runs and see what they do and learn something. This is her first year in those cars, so she wants to soak up all she can.
Absolutely. And another shout out to Bruce Volstead, who King Kyle just joined us too, by the way. What's going on, King Kyle? Bruce Volstead had his dad, Rolla, who was, racing, just an icon, had his celebration of life at the Motorsports Museum down in Wilsonville.
Oh, nice.
I'm sick I missed that. But Bruce, it looked like a super cool time. And if you go to Bruce Volstead's website, you can see some of the cool shots they had there. I mean, I guess it was mighty awesome. So, as it should be. Mm-hmm. I mean, he you talk about making a difference in the sport. Holy cow. So it was an honor to not only know him, but have him breathe the same air that he breathed. I mean, it was pretty amazing. But Lip, I don't know. Do you have time to go, or you want to save it for the close? You got some champions from your banquet?
I do. So, Kid Kart, Presley Culver brought that one down with Preston Finch coming in second and Maddie Weber coming in third. Mad Maddie, love her. Junior 1 4-cycle, Jamie Weber brings that one home. Junior 2 4-cycle is Trinity Fosdick, brings that one home. The Junior UAS, Daniel Watkins III, pulls off the win there. James King coming in a close second, along with Jasmine Hildebrand, bringing that one home. Stock Predator, Kelly Piper brings home number 1. Randy Harris, number 2. Sam Venerable, number 3, followed by Steve Miller. Stock Animal, Steve Miller brings that one home, along with Sam Venerable. 206, Brian Williamson handily handles that one. Yamaha Light, another familiar name, Daniel Watkins III wins that one. Good job by him. Tyler Weber right there for number 2. Steve Miller, number 3. Mr. Homestead, number 4 on that one. Jesse Clark, number 5. Heavy goes to Steve Miller. Heard his name a lot. Tyler Weber, number 2, and Brian Williamson, number 3, Jesse Clark, number 4, and number 5 was Homestead, Tyler Homestead. The Pro Open, Ronnie Cox handily handles that one, brings home the championship there. Rusty King, number 2. Bold move by Mr. Weber at the last race, running his KT because nobody else showed up because they were all on their way down to Arizona. So he went from like 6th to 3rd just by showing up and running his KT in the open class. Pulls home number 3, Joe Stackman, number 4, Kevin Bridges, number 5. So that's how they rounded out in the club. So it was a good banquet. We had a good time. Lots of good food and good.
Was it Chinese food?
It was Chinese.
Oh,
food. Plenty
gosh.
of it, man. It was.
Oh, dang it!
It was good. So, and the coats and trophies were a big hit. So we liked it. We had a good time, and everybody walked away with a smile.
And if you guys didn't see those trophies, my gosh,
those were
they
real
were off
deal.
the chain. Yeah, they were. They were off the chain.
Very good stuff. Hats off to BLG, Joe Ransom, and to Hager Performance.
Yeah, for sure. And your lovely wife, April.
Oh, yes, I
for
should.
doing
Yeah.
some.
Don't forget that.
I know. I threw her under the bus at the awards banquet too. So
Yeah, well, if there's milk bones out the door when you get home, you'll know why.
If the door even works.
Yeah, you'll be out there in the doghouse the rest of the night. There's your dinner. 6 milk bone dog biscuits.
She's mad at me anyways. She ordered some stuff and got it, and it was on Monday when the mailman brought it, but it was all during the storm, so he put it in the paper box next to the mailbox. Well, I'd already gone out and got the mail, so I didn't know that he hadn't got there. So he showed up after that, dropped off some more stuff, and then, of course, our lovely neighborhood, somebody stopped and snatched all of her stuff out of the paper box.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no. Yeah, so she's all
Jeez.
peeved off at me for that. And I don't know if you saw it last week after I got home. There was a nice big freaking shootout in my neighborhood where the cops were chasing a robber, and he stopped by my house, and they had a shootout, and then he drove off again.
Your favorite drivers and people of interest in the motorsports world. It's time for In the Seat, powered by Blue Line Graphics. All right, BLG bringing us our In the Seat guest tonight, and he is he's a busy guy. He does a little bit of racing, and he's also the director of the West Coast Late Model Series. I'm sure you guys have seen it on Facebook. Todd Connell's our guest. Welcome to the show, Todd. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, absolutely. So, man, this West Coast Late Model Series, where did it come from? I mean, it's looking like it's a great series.
Well, it started about 3 years ago, and we actually, 2014, we were running the West Coast Street Stock Series. Me and my wife were actually, we were operating that. We put together a big race at the Fall Classic with the late model sportsmen, basically out of Canada, and ran kind of heads up against the street stocks and the late models with a combined rules package. Ended up getting 37 cars. People seemed to like it. But the guys asked them what they thought about going into 2015, if they thought, we were having tough car counts with the street stocks, hard to find, hard to build parts. If they thought maybe going to a limited late model or a late model style chassis was something that they were interested into. And before I knew it, 10 of my guys had went out and bought late models.
Wow. Now are these they're not like the super lates, right? They're a stock clip, big spring, all that stuff, right?
Nope. You can run as pretty much as new or as old as you want.
So you can run coilovers and stuff?
Yes.
Wow. I did not know that. Wow.
We've got a 72 Torino front clip car that runs with us, and we got a basically 2016 LFR.
Wow. So that's quite a wow. Well, that makes that series even more interesting then, because I thought, well, wow. I mean, that's a kind of a good deal. You got to have stock clip and big. I mean, it kind of keeps the. But shoot, if I guess that is good. There's coilovers are a dime a dozen, right? I mean, you can get all that stuff fairly readable used. But so, what about the cost? I mean, were you concerned with that, or was it just you wanted to get a series going?
Well, I mean, the cost. I mean, when you look at the cost of what street stocks were costing, to find a competitive, turnkey or really competitive street stock, a Camaro, B, Nova, metric car, whatever. I mean, they were fetching upwards in the $10,000 to $15,000 range. I mean, and that's right. That's late model money, So it was feasible to go out and find a roller for $2,500 to $4,500. Take your street stock motor that you've already had, drop it in there, and now you're late model racing. Now you're learning more about coilovers and some of the adjustments that you have in a late model versus a street stock.
Yeah. Well, Mike, you've done a lot of street stock stuff. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, tell us a little bit, Todd, about like your engine packages and what tires you guys are running on. Is there weight brakes for big spring cars? Just kind of give us a basic outline of what your rules package looks like.
Yeah, for sure. The way the series is built and the way it stays very competitive is that there's weight breaks and weight penalties for coilovers or big spring cars or perimeters versus straight rail cars. Mm-hmm. And you end up with either left side weight or, just percentages in weights. So by doing that, adding and subtracting the weights of the cars, now by saying that we start out heavier than what your traditional super late model starts out at. Our base weight was 3,000 pounds. So we start at 3,000 pounds. And then we go plus or minus from there. As far as engine packages go, allow pretty much any wet sump. So it's got to have a wet sump. It's got to have basically an oil pan on it. Mm-hmm. And then we have the cast iron cylinder heads. And we run, most of the guys you can run a pop-up or a flat top piston. We have a 200 cc maximum cc on the cylinder head. And if you're running a 200 cc up head, anything at 185 and over, then you're going to carry a little bit of weight penalty for packing the basically aftermarket cylinder head.
Mm-hmm. And what about tires? What do you run for? Is it an open tire or is it a spec tire?
No. The tire we've adopted and what we've been running in our series and into the street stocks before we were even into the late models is the American Racer 970.
And so
And with
has
the
it been
help of,
has it been good for you?
it's been a great tire.
And is that a slick tire or is that a treaded tire?
It's a treaded tire. It's got 4 grooves on it. It's a lot like the old short track Goodyear tire that we used to run
Yep.
here in the Northwest, and we used to actually run all the place. So it's a really really good tire. It carries great speed. You can abuse it a little bit, let off, and it'll come back to you a little bit. Most of the guys really, really, really like it.
Whatever happened to the Hoosier Comanche?
It's affordable.
Whatever happened to the Comanche? You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Were they like that? Is that what? Is
Yeah,
it
they're
kind of
similar.
Similar?
To that. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Well, man, Todd, that sounds like you guys got a pretty good deal going on. It's good to see, people be able to drag, stock clip cars out of the weeds and throw a motor in it and go race late models. That's a cool deal.
Yeah, the guys seem to like it a lot. I mean, they got a pretty good following, and like I said, it's very competitive. I mean, I don't know if you get the chance to catch any of our races or watch us on the the race monitors and stuff like that. I mean, the qualifying times and the race times, I mean, the feel of the cars are pretty close.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what about God? What was I going to ask? I was going to say, what about car counts? How have the car counts been?
Well, my car counts are great. I think we between this year and last year we averaged 18 or more. We had a couple races where it just hit us in a bad spot. We had a couple guys have engine failures and some mechanical issues, and this is something you just can't control as a promoter. When you're going to that next place and you're like, well, you had 15 cars, why you only got 12? Well, we lost 2 or whatever. But I mean, as far as the guys in the group trying to make sure that the next guy's getting to the race, that's one thing I love about the series. As far as a tight knit group, a bunch of guys that are willing to load the next guy to them whatever they need to get them to the race.
Oh, that's cool. So what, man, you got my interest peaked now.
Yeah, I know. Well, you should have seen their banquet. You guys gave away something like $13,000 in prize money, and
$13,000 in points fund prize money. We had I can't put a number on the giveaways, just the raffle ticket stuff that we had on our giveaway table for everybody who shows up. I mean, there's probably several thousands of dollars worth of merchandise on there, just because of the great support of our sponsors and everybody that supports the series. It's a wonderful thing.
Man, that's awesome. So what tracks do you guys go to?
We've been to Yakima Speedway, obviously. We've been to Hermiston. We've been to Spokane, Monroe, Wenatchee. Obviously, we'd like to maybe entertain State Line. We haven't been there yet. I mean, I've raced there before. I think it's a great trip.
What about South Sound?
We haven't took the series to South Sound. I personally have raced South Sound with the street stocks. But I really hope that me and Nick can get together and maybe get a date or two.
Yeah, for sure.
Year. I think it'd be a great thing.
And I don't know if you've thought about this, Todd, but the Northwest Mini Stock Tour, they're similar to you. I mean, they've had great car counts. They've got a great little series going. Have you ever thought about maybe getting in touch with them and maybe combining your efforts so you've got something like that would make you guys a real hit, especially if you guys could kind of work together.
Yeah. I mean, me and Josh have talked. I mean, when we talk, we're all for it. We'd run with anybody. Whether it be the mini stocks or the Legend series. Any place where we feel like we're gonna draw drivers that are going to eventually want to move up into this series. We would like to run with or around those younger kids or those other guys that think, hey, I want to do that. So we're always looking to try to draw more people into our sport and then into our series.
Right. Yeah, I think that would be. I mean, I think that's a natural progression for you guys because then those guys can maybe move up to your series but I mean, just between the two of you, the car counts would be absolutely outrageous.
I mean, I know one tough thing for a track owner, a track promoter is to book book dates and then to book 2 traveling series together. Because then you've got a larger probably cash out of pocket that they've got to come to. So I think that's a hard thing for tracks to do. I think that's probably why you don't see a lot of it. You'll only see one series at a time at a certain track, and you don't see them back to back unless it's a special event.
Okay, well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I guess I've been around karting a little bit too much because I'm like, they're like, man, you have that many numbers show up. Oh yeah, that'd be great, But I guess I see your point there. So what's on tap for 2018? I mean, I thought I read too that you guys are on track to be at the same amount of money or more than you had this year for the series.
Yeah. We with Better All Auto Sales, who's been with us for the last 2 years. We're hoping to be able to keep him on board. He's got big plans. I don't know if you guys know Doug, but he is a giant supporter of late model racing and just racing in the Northwest in general.
That's awesome. And then you had a dental, right? Was it a dental sponsor or?
Yeah. Well, not a dental sponsor. I mean, we got American Racer, we got Mid-Columbia Dermatology, and then Rookie Award for rookies. So they put up for the rookies to compete, that the rookies are competing for outside of the regular points fund. We got Custom Fab. The guys there, they put up money every weekend for the fastest qualifier. That Twisted Tea, they put up money for the series points fund. M&S Motorsports, which they're incorporated with us, Marv and Steve. They're part of the West Coast family, and with Steve and Marv's connections, they help bring in a Crown Royal, Patron, Pabst Blue Ribbon, stuff like that. We got the Integrity Appliance with Steve Condiff. His son Kyler actually races in our series. He stepped up with Crown Royal for the Run to the Front Award, which is, we have that every race where whoever finishes, excuse me, for whoever's on the pole, if he's at the pole or the outside pole, they have a choice to go to the rear of the field and start in the rear, and if they win, then they get the Integrity Appliance Crown Royal Run to the Front Award.
Wow!
Right now, 2 years now. 2 years, nobody's won it. It's up to $1,000.
I was going to say, does that keep accumulating week to week?
Yeah, it does.
That's
so it's
awesome.
up to $1,000. Yeah, and we got Atomic Screen Printing. They put up the Iron Man Award. What that is every driver that competes in every points race at the end of the season, the last race, they run basically in the main event heads up, and whoever finishes 1, 2, 3 out of them, they're awarded extra points money on top of that, on top of the regular points fund.
Yeah, I saw that Marshall and those guys. They won like $800 or something. I mean, it was not a bad payday.
Yeah, Randy Marshall Jr. He did a pretty good job. He took every single Fast Time Award, which is $100 every race. He had 10 races. He took home an extra $1,000 just in qualifying.
Wow. So how many races you got on tap for next year?
We're hoping to have anywhere from 6 to 8. Obviously, we're headed to Warpa this weekend. We're hoping to be able to book some dates and get back to our races and let them know what we're hoping to have for them. They're always anxious. They like to plan their year in advance if they can, so we try to get it to them as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Shoot, I know. I wanted to go to that this year, and I didn't realize it was this weekend. So I guess I'm kind of out of the loop.
Hey, Todd, let me just throw something out there, and this is probably going to sound pretty wacky, but have you watched the trucks at Eldora?
I have.
So talking to Willamette or Grays Harbor and getting some late models out on the dirt track would be pretty cool. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
Yeah, me and the wife has kind of kicked it around a little bit, and you got to go, you got to get to your drivers and go, what do you guys think,
I know half of them are probably going to think it's a great idea, and half of them are probably going to want to run for the hills. But man, that would be. I took my pavement late model, in the '90s down to Lebanon, and didn't touch it. And man, did I have a blast!
Yeah, it would definitely be something awesome to see for sure.
Well, yeah, that's not out of line. That would be kind of cool. I mean, you'd have to be a complete kind of driver to get that, especially if you had one or two thrown in there. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's stuff like that. It's that kind of idea and that kind of out of the box thinking that we appreciate, that we strive for. We don't turn away any good idea. Everybody's got a great, an opinion is, great. Everybody wants opinions, and we've got to take as much of that as we can, because, that's how the sport keeps growing.
The funny thing about that is you got a good purse for a race like that, and you'd get people to show up. And I understand that's easier said than done, but that you get some money to win, and people will come race.
Yeah, I mean, and we don't. A lot of people think, well, you guys are trying to compete against the super late models and stuff like that, and we're not. I enjoy super late model racing. I love going to the showdown, in Evergreen and in Kern. I go to both. I love to go watch. I love to go to Montana 200 and watch the big super late model races. It's just something to watch. It's great. It's great entertainment. But I mean, as much as it's fun to watch and dream about racing one of those races, when you look at the dollar amount, that's a big task.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, but I think it's still I don't find you guys competing with that. I just think it's one of those things where, hey, it's can I go racing? Yeah, I can. I can do this, or can I not go racing? Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that, but I can do this. So I would assume that some racing is better than no racing.
Oh, exactly. And see, that's and you can call Donnie Wanna and ask him. He won the fall classes this year. He brought one of his crate car down and he ran with us. With our rules package on it. I mean, we got Randy Marshall Jr., who's ran in the super late, and now he ran with us and won the championship with us. There's Andy Soul, who runs with us this year. He ran with us last year. I mean, I think at first there was guys like, oh, I don't want to step down and run in that. But I think now guys look at it as, wow, that's a large group of very competitive race cars.
Yeah. I mean, and so give us in your opinion, give us some names that we should be keeping an eye on in that series.
Oh, well, I mean, obviously we have our Rookie of the Year, which is Garrett Huffines. He came out of the Legends. He steps up first year. He's right there running on the podium, and he finishes fourth in points, 2 points out of thirds. Just a phenomenal kid, phenomenal driver, great family. I mean, tons of support behind him. That was great. We got Mad Max Schroeder, up and coming, just hard worker. Him, his mom, his dad bust their butt on their race car. They're there every weekend. Hard racers, very competitive. I mean, it's just tons of people. We got Buck Knoll. He ran with us the last couple of years. It sounds like he's moving up and going to run some super late model stuff. Doug Proyes ran with us the last year. He won our championship last year and won Rookie of the Year. It's just these guys, and then they come in, they learn, and it's just amazing to watch these guys go right to the top.
Man, that's awesome. So if people want more information on this series, where do they go?
Most of it you can find on Facebook, on West Coast Late Models Facebook over there. It's on on the Facebook page. We try to share as much as everything we can between everybody who's in the series, part of the series, or racing it. We have ran some websites in the past. It seems like we get more response off our Facebook feeds, so we're kind of going to lean that way this year and see if we can get some even more coverage that way. Sweet,
super sweet. And so, do you know when the season opener is?
I'm going to assume it's probably going to be in April. We're hoping that the Yakima Speedway is open. I know. Everybody says, it's for sale, but it is for sale. I think everything in the world's for sale, but until someone comes along and buys it, I think it's going to be a racetrack. So hopefully nobody buys it, or if somebody does buy it, it's a racer, and we're racing there in April for the Apple Cup. I think that'd be great. Other than that, but I'm pretty sure we'll open somewhere up in April.
Sweet, super sweet. Well, hey, Todd, I appreciate you being on the show. I know some good information there, And I just look forward to. I know the Northwest Race Report wants to help you any way we can. So if we can be of service to you, don't hesitate to let us know.
Oh no, I appreciate you guys having me on the show, and I know I know you guys do a lot for a lot of people, and it's great to have you guys out there. I just love to have a spot to put my little platform out there and get to speak about the series just for a little bit. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, no problem. And we'll be in touch so we can maybe sit down and work something out and get us doing more stuff to help you out.
I really appreciate that. That'd be great.
Good deal. Well, thanks a lot, man, and we'll be in touch, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Todd.
Yep, thanks, man.
Thanks.
All right, Todd Connell, nice guy. He's wearing double hats, as Lippy knows all about.
Yeah, he's working hard there, that's for sure.
I mean, if he's racing that series and the director of it, I'm sure he's got a lot of help. But still, so West Coast late model series. Check him out on Facebook. I'm sure all the rules and everything are on their page. What did it sound like to you?
No, I think it sounds like a really good deal. Eventually I could see myself back on the pavement at some point. So that sounds like it could be a good option. There's he's got some safeguards in place for bringing out some older stuff and keeping some costs down. So, it sounds like a win-win. So,
and I know people are saying, yeah, but they allow coil and they allow, but you got to remember, it's just like back in the day, when they went to a 9-inch, you can get a quick change a dime a dozen, right? There are millions of them out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not that expensive. So same thing with the coilovers and all the hubs and all that stuff is it just makes it that stuff's out there.
It is. No, you're right. There's a lot of that stuff out there. So if you're smart and look around, you can put a car together pretty cheap. You can keep your eye on Facebook. You can buy a roller for just like you said, $25 to $5,000 for a decent roller. So it doesn't sound like a bad way to go if you want to go pavement racing.
No. And some of those street stocks motors these days are they're pretty beefed.
Yep.
Pretty beefed. You got anything, Lip?
Bradley Shaw showed up tonight. Nice to see him.
Yeah, he did. He fried a Berkey up there.
Nice.
I asked him. I said, "How do you toast a Berkey? Those things are like bulletproof, aren't they?"
Yes, they are. I'm surprised he did that.
Something happened. Had to have. I know.
Yeah.
I know. The princess wouldn't be smoking clutches just because. Kyle Keenan says Bruce absolutely crushed that celebration of life. Terry, you would have been proud. I'm sure I would have. Heck yeah, Bradley Shaw in the house. Man, he wears a lot of hats. Didn't he flag for you?
Not for me, but he has flagged for the club before.
Mm-hmm. And he's drove for Renee Angel and Shane Biles. He's been the hired gun. He's also the crew chief for Andy Soul. And, yeah. So Bradley Shaw, good to see him back out there racing, too. Good stuff. Well, next week, man, we're coming up on Thanksgiving rather rapidly, are we not?
We are.
So here's what I'm going to ask of you guys is, and all of you going to tune in. I know some of you are going to be floating around, but still, bring a couple things that you're thankful for in your world of racing for next week. That's the only assignment, and that'll be one of our segments. Is we'll kind of, just have a good positive deal on what we're thankful for. I think that won't hurt any of us to kind of maybe think that up. So be thinking about that. A couple things, one thing, couple things, whatever. But and be ready to share them. And don't be bowing out of this thing now, you guys. You guys gotta interact here. So come next week and find out. The 29th, after the next Speedway event, we are going to have none other than Mr. Kevin Janders on the show. So I'm going to be rounding up a guest for next week. If you've got some ideas or hints of maybe somebody you think would be deserving to be on the show, then let us know. But the 29th, Kevin Janders is going to be with us, so you want to tune in for that. He's an up-and-coming wheel. Great on the asphalt, good on the dirt. He just won down there his first time. So, and show of hands, how many are going to be speedwaying it on the 25th? Well, you're going to be there too?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm gonna bring the Predator down. I don't think I'll be in it. I'm kind of in I'm in a big car mode now, so I'm gonna let somebody else roll that thing.
Sweet.
Kind of fun to watch and help out. But I just want to be down there, and I haven't seen the Speedway guys all year, so I miss all those guys. So I want to get down there and watch some racing.
Maybe you gotta get call Rusty.
No.
No?
He's working.
He's out.
He's out.
Yeah, we'll be down on the 15th again. He'll be in an open that weekend.
Well, remember, guys. Oh, one of yours?
Better.
Who's he driving for? Bridges?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Wow.
Thanks, Fibo. Where's the invite? I'd have fit perfect in your seat.
That's why you asked Rusty.
Wow, well, that's interesting.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be way cool.
Yeah, he wants to try some stuff and run some different tire combinations and run some different stuff and watch his car rather than ride his car.
So does that mean that he's maybe inching towards being a car owner and more of a car owner than a wheel?
I don't think you're going to get that out of him, but he definitely wants to watch what it does and see what it does and see what it looks like, and he's also curious to see how much faster somebody's going to be in his if they are going to be faster.
Well,
Careful
they
what you
got
wish for.
guaranteed this much. Rusty will get what he can out of that bad boy. He always does.
Ain't no doubt about that.
And if he's not getting enough, just lean on the button.
No, you hide that button there. You make sure he does not know where that is.
At least for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
He's it's a big change. I mean, Rusty's driven, everything but an open. But stepping into something like that of that caliber, it's nothing like he's ever driven.
Yeah.
So we hope to be down there Friday to do some testing and then run Saturday.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. So don't forget, cage carts are at Salem. And then lastly, before we get out of here, I'm just going to let you know the Northwest Gold Cup made their schedule up this past weekend. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2-day shows. I think each one counts as a race. They open up at Tacoma, right here at Mountain High, on April 13th through the 15th. PKA down in McMinnville, May 4th through the 6th. May 25th through the 27th at Medford. And July 13th through the 15th at Spokane. August 3 through 5. They're going to be up at Sumas at the SEMA Motorsports Academy. And then the Can-Am Karting Challenge, May 19th and 20th, June 23rd and 24th, July 28th, 29th, and September 15, 16. You can go to the Northwest Gold Cup website. I think it's northwestgoldcup.com, and the Can-Am Karting Challenge Series. Just look it up on the web. You'll go right to it. You can find out more about both of those great series on the pavement. And the Supernats going on this weekend. I noticed Chris C. posted a Team CRG from Sweet Tech there on there, so we're rooting for Remy and those guys because they help out one of our own, Mr. Ryan Diotti.
Oh, nice.
So, cool stuff. Good luck to Sweet Tech down there. That's it for me. I think we've just about covered it. I ain't going nowhere. I have 2 carts, Kevin Bridges says.
It's truly a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I want to say a big shout out to all you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all the awesome support. I need to get I don't know. Oh, we're still going here. I need to get your addresses for those of you that we're in the summer chat series. So Watkins,
I got Watkins. We need Brent Myers. We need Sean Halberts. We need Daryl Kelso. Northwest Cart Dates. Ronnie Swires. Jason Susich. And Sean Carr.
Yeah, so there we go. That's what we need. We need some addresses. We'll get that stuff out to you as quick as we can. You get a Burris t-shirt, some Stagger tape, some other neat stuff. And as always, you got suggestions, drop us a line on Facebook, or you can go to the website, terrybridgesracing.com. And thanks, all you guys, for tuning in. Double M, thanks for taking the time to be here, bro.
Yep, thanks for having me.
And Lippy, thank you so much for all your efforts. And we appreciate it, guys. We love you. We'll see you next week, right here at 6:30. The Northwest Race Report. Spread the word for us. Thanks a lot.